Alright, I got a different type of video for you today. I'm going to be unveiling my position in Apple. And this is not just going to be on my normal account that I've shared before, which would be my Robinhood account, but I'll be sharing my current positions in both Stash, M1 Finance, and Robinhood. I'll be showing you all those different accounts, specifically my Apple shares. We might get into showing the whole accounts at some point, but I just wanted to show you Apple specifically, just a spotlight, a nice winner that I've had sitting in my portfolio for a while. So if we're looking right here initially on this Stash one, I have around 1.4 shares, nothing major. Again, I don't have a lot of money in this particular account, and that's primarily just because this is more of a I opened it as a test just to see how it worked and what was going on. So it's not that large of a portfolio as a whole. So that's why I don't really have that many shares in terms of this. But Apple's one of my highest in terms of total of everything I own. Apple's one of my highest positions in terms of percentage of my total portfolio, I guess, owned from every brokerage account I own. And there's a good reason for it. And you can see right there, positive return around $116.97, which represents a 45.61% increase. So that's fantastic, obviously, if you think about that. And this is over a decent time period here. So I've probably owned, and I've added to this position too, for sure. So there's no denying I've added to this position. Nothing absurd going on here in terms of this one. So the Stash portfolio is one that I readily just add some cash into, and then I just divide up that into certain different stocks. So again, this one's not as severe. It's my smallest portion of Apple that I own, but it's worth noting, 45% increase. I'm enjoying it. I like what it is, and that's, I earned a dividend off that too, so I like it too. We'll go into our next bad boy, our M1 portfolio. We'll go ahead and take a look at Apple here, what I own in terms of Apple. So the total value of what I own here is $656.02, which is representative of 2.46 shares, really 2.5 if we want to round up and be fair. And you see an all-time earned dividend of $6.30 off of these shares, which again is nothing severe, but I own a relatively smaller amount of shares here, I suppose. But it's, total value around $656, nothing absurd, nothing too crazy. An average share cost of around $186, and that at this point will tend to go up a little bit. It's a very high portion of my percentage of my portfolio, so it's worth noting that that's the case. So again, nothing absurd here. With my M1 account too, it's certainly not my highest value account. My Robinhood one is. So the value, in terms of share count isn't necessarily all the way there. Percentage is pretty similar around every one of my accounts as far as Apple's concerned. And you may think, well, what's the point of having the different accounts? I do invoke some different investment strategies on all of these accounts, and some of them are just a test. Like the Stash account, I really just got just to see how the thing works. And M1, I'm newer on M1. I started my M1 account in July of last year, 2018, and since then, you see, we've grown this portion of our portfolio quite a little bit here. Return of 88.16% if you're including dividends on there. So that's very nice. I like to see that. Good percentage gain. Now we have our big hitter, our Apple shares in our Robinhood portfolio. So pretty exciting here. A total of 5 shares. You're gonna kill me. At one point, I did own. I owned 8 shares at one point. Um, my average cost before was around 168. I sold 4 of those shares, and I deeply regret it. I sold 4 of those shares somewhere around the $200 range, and this is early on. This is before I really got too well acquainted with who I wanted to be investing wise. So I saw a little bit of a profit. I don't remember where it was, 180 maybe even. I saw a profit and I sold like a fool. And if I hadn't done that, I would have had 8 shares here at an average cost around 162, which right now would be a total gain somewhere around the 80% range again, which is I wish I could have had that, but mistakes were made here. So total equity here, value, right around $1,330. Total return of $489, $490 really. Why wouldn't we just round that up? 58%, 58.3% return as well on that. So in total, 5 shares right now. I did make another purchase of a share around the $200 range, which is why my cost average went up a little bit. It was just a purchase of 1 share, and the question is obviously, am I still readily adding Apple shares? Well, the reason I am on M1 and Stash as opposed to Robinhood right now is just the ability to purchase those partial shares, whereas I can't do that on Robinhood right now. If they ever add partial shares, potentially, but again, I find it hard usually to add when my cost basis is so low. But it's a company I still believe in, and I think there's still plenty of room to go up with this stock. I think it's just been absolutely on a tear this past year, so I could see it go down somewhere around the 240 range. If I could get it there, I would certainly consider purchasing again, but we'll have to see if that happens. Again, I'm just gonna play it safe and keep some cash on the sideline so I can make a little bit of a larger purchase in case that happens. So yeah, this is this is my Apple positions, and I hope you enjoyed. This is somewhere around a 60% in total return here. This Robinhood one doesn't include dividends, but obviously I've had these Apple shares for a lot longer than I did on the M1 one. So I've earned more in dividends, and I have more shares, so I've definitely earned more in dividends that way. So something to consider on that aspect as well. So that's it for me, and this is my portfolio spotlight of the day.